everyone. Welcome to Cooking with Ara, and I am so excited. It's Halloween. It's my favorite season, and today we are going to be making a wish soup. But first, I need to light my candle before we start. And while I was getting ready earlier and getting everything prepped and ready to go, I realized that I want to change the name from wish soup to my intention soup. Because when I was a little girl and I used to make this soup, I used to always make a wish, okay? I would magically create my soups with my mom or my grandmother when I was cooking. I'd put stones in my soups and do all sorts of cool stuff. But I made a wish, and I realized, now that I'm older and a little smarter, I realized that wishes are just like hoping and praying for something to happen. You hope and wish. And that's not what we want to do with our soup today. We want to set an intention as if we already have it. And what my cooking is all about is about the feeling, creating that feeling that you already have received. So what you're going to need today is a yellow candle or a white candle. This is my magical candle. I let this one burn down until it's almost done. And I just got to get my wick going here. And we're gonna make that intention soup. But first, you have to have an intention. My intention today, I was thinking, what do I want to wish for? Or what do I want to make an intent for? I thought, oh, well, $1 million, that would be great, but what's the $1 million going to bring me? It's gonna make me happy. It's gonna bring me a lot of peace and freedom to do what I wanna do. So you have to look deep within what it is that you really want. It's really not money that you want, it's what it's going to bring you. So at the very end of that intention is really peace and happiness. So that's what I'm going to create today. So we're starting right now. We are using the Instapot. I have my magical candle lit, and I'm gonna move it right over here. I also have some notes, and I have some really great information for you on the herbs that we're using today. So, give me one moment. I'm gonna step over here quick. I wanted to set the tone with a little bit of Halloween music. I love it, I love it, love it. I got my trusty crow here. I love my crow, my magical pumpkin. Along with your yellow candle, you are going to need a magical crystal or a wishbone or a stone, okay? I am using a special stone that I found, which was located right on my property. So since today I am wishing, my ultimate goal is to have peace and happiness. And really, I think that's what everyone's goal is, to have peace. So I find peace in my home, and I found this beauty outside when I was taking a little walk today, doing some meditating and being grateful, and this is the one that came to me. So this is what I'm gonna be using today for my soup. I had it soaking in some boiling water, so it's nice and clean, and it's ready to go. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to be using a lot of magical ingredients today. We're going to be using basil and thyme and parsley and some ginger, lots of veggies like red pepper and lots of onions, okay? And I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of them as we go. So we're going to start off in our Instapot, and I did put it on, oh, here I go again. What happened? I did put it on a saute. So what we want to do is we want to saute our vegetables. We're going to start off with some olive oil right on the bottom of our pot. Oil and butter is considered an igniter. So when you use these oils or butters, it's going to ignite it and infuse it a lot deeper. So that intention we're going to set today, before we start, I'm going to set the intention of happiness. Okay, so this is what you do. Take a breath. We light our candle. We have our rock here. And I'm gonna leave that rock right there until the end. Okay, remember, if you have a wishbone, you can use that. So now, before we start, we wanna set our intention. And I wanna say it as if I already have it. So I'm gonna close my eyes, I'm gonna cross my fingers. This is what I used to do when I was a child, and it works for me. You can do whatever you'd like. But what I'm doing is I'm setting the intention to say, I am the happiest I have ever been. I am at peace, and I'm just joyous. I am the happiest I have ever been in my entire life. And just feel it for a minute. And then you want to start, okay? And I'm going to show you what we're going to do later with that rock or the wishbone. So let's start. We're going to start sauteing our veggies. We're starting off with some olive oil in the Instapot. We're going to add 1 onion. And I like using the Instapot because you could saute in it and you pressure cook in it, which is great. Some notes here. This soup that I'm making actually is a very charming, spicy soup. So we're going to be using tomato and orzo and a lot of great spices. And I love cooking in the Instapot because we're cooking with orzo today. And you know, we're cooking with orzo or with beans or with lentils. It takes a while to cook these things. This is going to make the perfect soup, fast and quick, that you're going to be able to eat in 30 minutes. So we're going to first saute the onions. I like the onions to sit a little bit before I add any spices in it. I want the onions to sweat. I notice that if I add salt too early, it sort of affects the sweating of the onions. I've learned that. So I wait. I always tell my kids, drop it on low when we're on the stove and let it simmer low for about 10 minutes and then add your spices. The next thing I'm going to do is, I love to do this, I use whole cloves of garlic, all right? I like to drop these right in my soup. What this is going to do is it's going to give it a nutty flavor. I don't like to use that word, but that's what it brings. It's not going to taste like nuts per se, but it's going to bring a different flavor to it instead of using the chopped. Okay, garlic is a great protector. So it'll keep any bad luck away and keep any evil away. And since it's Halloween, we definitely need the garlic to keep the vampires away. I'm gonna add a little more olive oil to this. I like to use a lot of oil. I never really measure it out too much. So now that those onions are cooking on slow, I got about a cup of red chopped peppers. You can use any veggies you have in your house. I also have a magical citrine right here. Just a really good luck stone for me. So I like to keep it close by when I'm cooking. I always stir clockwise. I'm sort of stirring with the universal flow and universal energy. I always want to go clockwise, keeping happiness and harmony. You know, one thing I do want to tell you guys when you're cooking, I wanted to make the video today because I woke up in a good mood, and when you are in a good mood, that's where the intention comes from. It comes from your feeling. I talk about it a lot that we're frequency, we're vibration, and if you're feeling good, you are going to project, you're going to put it into your food, and you know, it's cooking with love, cooking with the intention. So my intention again today was for peace and joy and happiness. I'm feeling good today, so it's going to really show up in my soup. Perfect time to make my magical witch's stew. Okay, so we have this cooking right now. God, I love Halloween. Next, let's sit a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. Sometimes I should always wait for that, but I'm gonna add a pinch of salt, black pepper, and oh, I have some eye of newt somewhere. Gotta add some eye of newt. Just for, you know, that magical extra touch. I also want to tell you that I am going to be using some of my homemade vegan vegetable stock. Matter of fact, I got to get it out of the freezer. I love using our stock because we make this homemade. We use the scraps of all the veggies, and you just take them, you put them in a Ziploc bag, and you throw them in the freezer. Boom! You have them. When your bag fills up, You put it on the stove, you just fill those veggie scraps with water and then just boil it for about an hour or so. Add some spices and you got stock. Okay, so this is my vegetable stock I'm gonna be using. Now, ooh, this is looking good. Looking good, looking good. Now I'm gonna put the spices in, and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about the spices, and I did make some notes today. I have to tell you, all the spices that I'm working with have to do with Aphrodite and Venus. So since I'm putting love and peace and joy into this soup, you know, we are definitely working with Venus. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about these spices. So while this is cooking, we're using thyme, and we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of thyme. And thyme is perfect for mood effectiveness. I know this from the essential oils. Thyme is great mood stabilizer, but it also brings positivity and luck. So these are some of the attributes of this. That's weird, I thought I felt something there. Maybe someone's with me. Oh my goodness. And we're gonna use some thyme, and man, is this gonna smell great. Oh my goodness, when are they gonna make smell-o-vision? They really need to, because this is really amazing. God. Oh, fabulous, fabulous. Next, we are going to be using the basil. Oh my goodness, I know about basil. It's my favorite herb, honestly. Even when I go for massages, I use basil. I have about 3 tablespoons here, and it's dry ingredients today. Ooh, basil has a lot of interesting stuff. Basil is actually a Greek word for king, okay? So you feel very royal and just powerful with basil. Wonder why I love it so much. But today, basil is a cure, I found out, for depression. They used to call it madness back in the day. They gave this to kings when they would be able to settle down so they could make really good decisions. So basil is the coolest herb to help calm the mind, help empower you. But I also found out today that basil was known to be Satan's herb. Yes. Oh, hello, crow. Yeah. It was known to be Satan's herb, and they were to say that they were going to curse the ground as they planted the basil. So back in medieval times, they would use this herb for curses. It was known, folklore said, that witches would ride with basil on the backs of their broom, help them fly a little better, and also, a little Halloween knowledge, it was great for cursing people, but we don't want to do that today. We're not cursing anyone. Basil, another European note, is that they used to give a plant of basil to people when they were leaving their home. So basil is great for helping people travel. Maybe that's why witches wore the basil on the back of their broom. God, I do really love basil. I wonder if that really means anything. Also, another thing, basil is a good herb to attract the opposite sex. So a lot of Italians use basil when they're making their pastas, their soups, their sauces, and they're putting a lot of basil in there as they were giving it to, well, Italian witches were giving it to the men in their lives to attract an engagement. So basil is a really amazing herb. It's actually one of my very favorites. If you're interested in any basil essential oil, let me know, because it's fabulous for massage and for the bones. It's so great. So we have our basil in there. Fun Halloween facts. Okay. Now I have my thyme, my basil, parsley. I didn't write anything about parsley because I know about parsley. Parsley is a purifier. Parsley is also known by the goddess Aphrodite and known to bring love. So again, we're working with a lot of love herbs, and it smells amazing in here. Now I don't want to add any more oil. I'm just going to add some of my stock in here. It's getting a little dry. I want to do that. I'm going to let that cook up a little bit. Another herb that I want to use is oregano. Oregano is a fabulous herb that I use in essential oil for back pain, okay? Oregano is ruled by Aphrodite, and it goes with the heart chakra. okay? So oregano is really one of the most amazing magical herbs there are. So again, I have this setting on high. I have this setting on saute mode. And I think we are pretty good here with our veggies. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to drop my carrots in. My carrots should have been with the onions, but that's okay. We can let them cook for a little bit.
That smells amazing.
Does it?
Yes.
So you can see what's going on. I hope my phone works. Right here. Yeah, it's difficult sometimes to do this camera stuff. It's cooking up good, baby. Now remember, it doesn't matter that I put these carrots in later because we're in a pressure cooker and it's gonna get soft pretty quick. Beautiful. So a lot of magical herbs, thyme, garlic, basil, and last but not least, we have ginger. Ginger is going to add spice to this. It's going to be a nice heat. It's not too much, so it's about a pinch. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of ginger. If you have a little piece of ginger root, you could put it in, not too much. Okay, and that eye of newt, oh, where is that? Ah. A little bit of eye of newt. You need that in the witch's brew. You need it. It smells amazing. Okay, and last but not least, we are going to add, now normally I would tell you to do 2 cans of diced tomatoes. I took tomatoes that I had and I made a homemade, like a chunky tomato sauce. So I'm gonna add this in. I just make a lot of homemade stuff. So you could do 2 cans of tomatoes. I'm doing this. Okay, I'm gonna let that cook a little bit, little stir here. And then I'm gonna take my fresh garlic. I always have fresh garlic and oil on hand. Now I did put the chunk cloves of the garlic in here, but remember, it's a different flavor I'm trying to bring out. So this, I'm just gonna give it just a little bit of hint of garlic with the olive oil, and I'm gonna put that in too. You know what else I'm gonna do? I'm going to add a touch of hot sauce for some heat. Maybe 2 drops in there. I love spice. And then we are going to, you know what I'm gonna do next? I'm gonna take my orzo. I'm gonna add my 2 cups of orzo. Don't wash it before you use it. I shouldn't say that. You can quick rinse it. I do, but like I washed some orzo before and it got so hard. I went for it, I forgot, oh my God, all the starch built up on it. So I went back and I just grabbed my dry orzo, and that's what I'm using right now. So I'm gonna put my dry orzo in. 2 cups. Looking good, looking good.
Smells good.
Yeah, hi.
Oh.
We have my daughter here. I am making intention soup, which is actually wish soup, but normally made with a wishbone, but we're not using a wishbone, we're using a magical rock today, which I used to do when I was a little girl. So I'm using the rock. We're not using bones because we're not really cooking with lots of meat, so we don't have a wishbone. But like I said, you could do it however you want. Instead of using vegan broth, you can use vegetable stock, you could use chicken stock, you could use beef stock, whatever you want to use. I am using my vegetable stock, like I told you. All right? So now I'm gonna add that vegetable stock. I have about 4 cups in here. More salt. I like to use pink Himalayan sea salt. You could get a bag like this at Marshall's, at Whole Foods, wherever you shop. Okay, so we have all our vegan broth in there. I have my magical candle. And last but not least, I have my magical rock. And I know the intention that I said earlier, and now it's going in the soup. So if you have your wishbone, put it in. I set the intention for peace and happiness. Now, I'm gonna let this cook for about 20 minutes. If you're on a stovetop, you are going to just cook it to your direction of your orzo. Give it one more quick stir.
If you do it on stovetop, you do the broth and then add the orzo.
Exactly. So now I'm gonna drop it to soup and broth. So we hit soup and broth. We're having it on manual here. So just seal the lid and make sure the pressure knob is closed because we don't want that steam to come out.
Don't say that so soon.
No, come on, you can do it. All right. Yes,
Okay.
you got it. All right. So this little gadget right here will, if you don't have it closed, like it open or closed, if you don't have it closed, steam will come out all over the place. You know what? That might be pretty cool. We might like do a little early release on the steam to make it really magical. But that's it. We're gonna drop it to 20 minutes and you are going to have intention soup, wish soup, whatever you wanna call it. But remember this, please take your wishbone out of your soup and then you wanna break it with a family member, okay? Break it with whoever you wanna break it. Even if you get the shorter end of the wishbone stick, it's okay. Snap it, and then I want you to throw it anywhere in a lake, water, a pond, anywhere, just throw it. You have to dispose of it. As far as your stone or your crystal, you are gonna go in that pot and you're gonna get your stone out and you have to do the same thing. That is setting that intention out to the universe. You're gonna put it in flowing water and you're gonna forget about it and it's just going to come. So it concludes my wish soup, my intention soup. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you all have a magical Halloween. Wishing you a lot of love and light. And let me know if you make a soup, what your intention was, and how it turned out for you. Thank you so much, and have a magical day.